Hi everyone, I am Kayla Steenkamp and today we are going to talk about applying for a work visa, also known as a Z visa in China. So the process is quite easy. You need to notarize, legalize and authenticate three documents. Our first document will be the police clearance form, also known as a criminal background check. Our second document will be your degree. And then our third document will be your TEFL certificate. Okay, so the process can be taken into three steps. Our first step would be either to get the documents and to get them notarized or authenticated at either the police station for the police clearance form, South African Qualifications Authority for your degree, and then the TEFL certificate if it's in another country, you need to get it authenticated there. The second step for all three documents would be taking them to DIRCO in Pretoria so it can be legalized. That it would be for all three documents. So I would suggest just to take that in mind, that getting all your documents together so you can send them all together at the same time to DIRCO. Then our third step in the process would be taking all of those documents to the Chinese embassy. There's one in Pretoria and also in Cape Town. There you will get a green stamp, which is very important because that is how you will be able to get a working visa in China. Okay, before we start, I quickly just want to talk about DIRCO. So DIRCO is the Department of International Relations and Cooperation, and it is in Pretoria. As I mentioned before, you have to submit all three your documents, your police clearance, your TEFL certificate, and your degree. You can either submit it in person or you can use a courier service. I would suggest a courier service, it's much easier, and I will talk about that later. Okay, so let's start. Our first document would be the police clearance form, also known as a criminal background check. It's quite easy. You can go to your local police station and ask for a criminal background because you want to work in China. There you would need a proof of identity, so take your passport with and just bring a copy with as well. You will also need to fill in an application form and then get your fingerprints done. When that is done, you can request the police station to forward the application to Pretoria because that's where you need to get the police criminal background check stamp. After that, they can send it back to you wherever you are, and the police station will notify you when it's ready. You do need a proof of identity to collect the form, and please just keep in mind the police form, the police clearance form, is only valid for 6 months. So please just make sure when you are planning to go to China that that 6 month gap is still in there. Okay, so this would be the first step for the police clearance form. The second step would be taking it to DIRCO in Pretoria. As I mentioned before, you can send all your documents together. I will just break this up into the three different documents with their steps, but just keep in mind you can send all three of the documents together to DIRCO. So talking about DIRCO, if you choose to deliver or submit the document in person, it's quite easy. You can go to their physical address in Pretoria and you do not need a proof of ID or anything to collect or submit the document, but you will get a blue slip with a reference form which you would need if you want to go collect the document when it is done. DIRCO is free of charge, so you do not need to pay anything, and submitting 1 to 5 documents takes 1 working day. So it's quite easy. The moment you submit it, after 1 working day, you would receive an email saying it's ready for collection. You bring your blue slip with and you can collect it. That's quite easy. With the courier service, it's a bit different. You do need a letter of authority to sending with the courier service to allow them to pick it up for you. So when you do want to submit the form with the courier service, you will fill in a form like this, letter of authority. You can find it on their website, stating that you are giving them the authority. You put in your reference form as well as your email address and the address where the courier service needs to pick up the form for you to collect it for you. So that's also quite easy. It's the same price, it's free of charge, and it only takes 1 working day. So using a courier service, you will need a letter of authority. That is when your documents are ready for collection. You will use this letter. So you will send it with your courier service, and this is for collection of documents. When you do submit the document, you will need a cover letter, and it looks like this. It's also very easy. It just states the country where you want to work, so the country for where you want the legalization, and then as well as your email address. This will go with the courier service to submit the document, and this will go with the courier service to collect the document. Both of these documents you can find on their website. It is quite easy. So I will just show you mine. The police clearance form will look like this. If I can find it, it will look like this, with a stamp saying that it is legit and your criminal background check is good. When you send it to DIRCO, you will get a red stamp and a green ribbon. It will look like this. A red stamp, a green ribbon from DIRCO saying that your document is legit. Please do not remove the green ribbon. It's very important. Everything needs to stay like this when you send it to the Chinese embassy. This is DIRCO. So you are done for the police clearance. Okay, so now we are moving to our second form, and that would be your degree. So with a degree, you also need it to be verified or stamped to say that it is legit. So from December 2019, things have changed and you need to submit your degree to the South African Qualifications Authority. Before that, we used to send it to the Department of Higher Education and Training, but you cannot do that anymore. Now it is the South African Qualification Authority, SAQA. So the South Africans Qualification Authority, they should stamp and sign a true copy of your certificate and issue an original covering letter confirming that the educational institution is a recognized institution in South Africa. So in other words, it's just they're going to sign and stamp it saying that the university you got your degree from is legit. The original covering letter or verification letter and the stamped signed copy of the certificate must then be submitted to DIRCO. So this SAQA is an online process. It's brand new. You can email an application to verificationsletter@saqa.org.za. This will take about 4 working days and it's also free of charge. So this is our first step with your degree. You have to send in the original degree like this and then a copy with it. They will stamp the copy and they will give you a verification letter saying that your degree is legit. Our second step would be taking our documents to DIRCO. As I mentioned before, we can send all 3 documents together, but I'm just breaking this up so you can kind of get where I'm at. So when we send our documents to DIRCO, remember you will need a cover letter if you will use a courier service. So if I, for instance, will use a courier service, I will write in my email and the country where I want my documents to be legalized, which in this case is China. So cover letter with the original degree that is stamped and a copy of it. At DIRCO, as I mentioned, it takes 1 working day and it's free of charge. It will look the same as the police clearance. You will have a red stamp and a green ribbon. So here is mine, for instance. It looks like that, red stamp, green ribbon, and there is the copy of my certificate, which is also stamped. This is the copy. I still do have my original, so they will not stamp and put a ribbon on the original. So you're fine with that. Okay, so that is when you are done with DIRCO. When you use a courier service, you will then also have to send with a letter of authority, just stating that the service can collect your document for you. If you don't have this letter, the courier service cannot do a thing. So please remember this. As I mentioned, you can find both these letters, the cover letter and letter of authority, on their website. So this is our second document. Okay, so now we add our third and our final document, and that is your TEFL certificate. So the TEFL certificate is a bit more complicated. There are 2 ways where you can notarize it. I will talk about the first one, and that is when the TEFL company that you got your certificate from is from South Africa. So on the certificate, the address is in South Africa. When that is the case, you will have to notarize it in South Africa. So you will take a copy and the original certificate to a public notary where they would just verify that this copy is a true copy of the original. After that, you will take both these documents to the High Court where they would verify this copy that was signed by the public notary, just saying that this is a legit copy, it is a true copy of the original document. Then our third step would be taking it to DIRCO. Exactly the same way. If you use a courier service, you will use the cover letter stating which country you want it notarized and your email address. Send it to DIRCO, the copy. They will stamp it. They will give it a green ribbon, red stamp. It takes 1 working day and it's free of charge. When the collection is ready and you are using a courier service, you will then use the letter of authority, signing it, stating that this courier service can pick it up, that's the reference number, and there is your email address. Very quick, very easy. Our second way of notarizing a TEFL certificate is when your company is not from South Africa. So in my case, I got my TEFL certificate from Global Language Training and they are based in London. So here is my original certificate looking like that. And you will see at the bottom, it will give the address of a UK one. So the public notary and the High Court cannot touch this because they cannot verify it because this is not in South Africa. So you will have to contact your TEFL company and ask them if they can verify it in the country of its origin. So Global Language Training was very, very quickly and easy with this process. Very nice, they knew exactly what to do. I couriered it to London, they stamped it there for me. They even verified it for me at the Chinese embassy, which was very great because it was less work for me. So just contact them, email your company, and they will help you. I'm sure they will. But like I said, Global Language Training is really good at helping you with this. So that would be our third document. Our first one was the police clearance, our degree, and now we have our TEFL certificate. So when you have all of your documents and they are all stamped with a big red one and they have a green ribbon from DIRCO, it means they are ready to be taken to the Chinese embassy. So like I said, there's one in Pretoria and one in Cape Town. I live in Cape Town, so I use the one there. It's in Constantia. So the Chinese embassy will verify these stamps and signed documents from DIRCO. This is very important. You need to go there in order to use them in China. So at the Chinese embassy, you will need to fill in an application form, which looks like this, and you can find it on their website. It looks very scary, but it's in English and Chinese. You just need to fill it all in, and at the bottom, select the visa that you want to legalize for visa. It's 2 pages, and you fill it in. You need to have your proof of ID, so your passport, as well as a copy, and then all 3 your documents that you got from DIRCO. So let's go with our police clearance form. Looks like this. This is from DIRCO. You give it like this with a copy. And when you are done, you will get a big green stamp like this at the back saying Chinese verification. This baby is very important because this will help you get a working visa in China. So we have one for our police clearance form. We have one for my degree, exactly the same at the back. And then there is also one for the TEFL certificate over there. So if all 3 your certificates have this, you are good to go. Like I mentioned before, it takes about 4 working days and it is free of charge. So it's very easy. You will also receive a blue slip, kind of the same like DIRCO. When the collection is ready, you bring with blue slip, an ID at hand, and then you can collect your documents. Very quick, very easy. Okay, so we are almost done. Now that you have your documents which are stamped, verified, and legalized, you can send all 3 of them to your company in China. they will send you a foreign work permit, which you will use to apply for your visa at the visa application center. The form is just a small, tiny form with a stamp on it. It's all in Chinese, but it's just a work permit stating that you actually have a company in China who is offering you a job. So that is quite easy. When you go to apply for your work visa, you need to have that form, your passport, and an application form. Application form looks like this. It's 4 pages long. It's also in Chinese and English. You just fill it in as you can, and this you will have with you when you apply for the visa. The visa office is in Long Street in Cape Town. That's where I went. It is about 800 Rand after. You need to pay with a card. You will get a pickup slip. So when it is done, they will notify you via SMS or email, and then you need to take the slip with as well, or just the slip, and then you will get your passport, and then inside your passport you will have your visa. So then, yeah, that's how it will look. Here is mine, Chinese visa. There it says Z visa. So then you are ready to go. Just a reminder, apply at least 30 days before your flight, just to be sure about thingies. Otherwise, you are just under pressure and it's not necessary. So yeah, that is the process. I hope this can help you. And as I said, most of the documents, all of the documents are on all of the websites. It's quite easy to locate and fill in. Awesome. That's from me. Goodbye, fellow South Africans, and good luck.